don't know why all my settings were messed up when it came to sound, but we're here. Thanks for coming in today. Seriously, why were all my sounds... Did the whole intro, there was no music, was there? Oh boy. Thanks, OBS Studios. I appreciate that. Anyways, thanks for coming in today. We got a new toy to play with. Let me get rid of the music. We don't need it. Alright, we're going to play with this new Comanche. Pretty nice. Alright, so we got partner breaks, shocks, tie downs, all that going. Let's do a little... I think we're able to do a little virtual rock around. Give me a second. How do I do that virtual rock around? Walk around. There we go. Okay, so we're going to start out here. We're going to take a look at the wing. Looks good. Dub Aviator, thanks for coming today. Aileron looks good. Fuel tanks, wingtip tank's closed. Wingtip tank looks good. Under the wing. Can you actually? Does it collect fuel? It's there, but it's not collecting fuel. Okay. Anyways, moving on. Tied down. Fuel cap's closed. Gear looks good. There's got to be a way to make this sump, right? Alright, it's not working yet. That's fine. Spinner looks good. Props look good. Oil thing's good. Oh, you can open these things, right? Oh, look at that. Oh, look at that. Cool. Gear's good. Move that. Remove that. Oh, I gotta start over now, because you can do all these things. Let's start over, chat. So we're good here. Good here. That's closed. I mean, eventually there's got to be a way to make the fuel come out of that, I assume. Giggity. Alright, light. Tie down. Remove the chalk. Tried that, didn't work. Good. Check the oil. Oil looks good. That's good. Remove the chocks. Tie down's good. Light's good. Closed. Again, we haven't got that animation to work quite yet. Flap, spoiler, all that's good. Feed stack, good. Tie down, good. We got bags and stuff here. Okay, cool. That's neat. Alright, so everything's in. Fuel, payload, bags, everything. Controls. It's even got a little control lock. Look at this. This is jerry-rigged a little control lock with a little... take that off. Alright, so we'll go ahead and turn the battery on. Avionics on. Beacon on. Make sure I'm prop forward here. Open this guy. We'll call out clear prop, clear prop. You know what? Probably help if I turn the fuel tanks on. Then maybe we can give it the beans. Alright, you can stop plane. See, there's still some glitchy things. This is one of them. I asked for you to stop. Okay, auto start. Since it's being a little bit of a... Still some glitchy things here and there that need to be worked on. Nick Gresla, Mike Stein, thanks for coming in today. Alright, so engine's on. Good, everything's good. Nav lights on. Good. Alright, let's see. Everything else down here is good. Alright. We're using the GNS 530. And then the regular comm stack as then the comm 2, which I should probably turn on. Turn the transponder on. You can control your fuel and your payload right here. I just filled up both the main tanks. We're not going to use the tip tanks. We're not going that far. Gives you the altimeter and the weather and all that. Starting out at San Luis Obispo, we're going to go up the California coast to the north to Monterey. Meeting with a career coach, nice. Hopefully that goes well. Nice and hot out there. Close this guy. So hold on 1 second because I feel like I need to adjust this. You're going to say, well, why are you making it louder? You guys will see in a second what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna put my headphones on, and now it's like noise canceling headsets. Look at that. Alright, so we're pretty much done with all the stuff that we have. It's got like a little maintenance thing here. It tells you what needs to be done with the airplane if everything's working good. Look at that, it even shows you what's going on with each piston. The mags. Shows you where the electric is coming from, the alternator is running. Look at that. It shows you a little bit of everything going on there. That's pretty nifty stuff right there. All right, so put that away now. Why did my engines just quit on me though? That's a good question. Hello? Can I? Guess it was too hot. Alright, so we're just gonna go to Kilo Mike Romeo Yankee. And we're just gonna follow the coastline. I'm gonna have this up just for reference. This is Monterey, California that we're going to. Okay, and we see exactly 100 miles, straight line. Who would have thought? Alright, fill in. Okay. I think we're all good here. Yeah, why don't we go ahead and drop the park and brake right here. And we'll mosey on. I'm gonna turn. I guess I could turn this thing on, even though we're not going to use it. This ADF. We'll mosey on out of here. You go ahead and pop on the Unicom 122.8. Probably actually look at the weather first and see which runway I'm taking off at San Luis Obispo. That would probably be a good idea, right, chat? Weather at San Luis, it's 260 at 610 and clear. So at San Luis Obispo, we have runway 29er. So we should probably go taxi to runway 29er, which is going to be off to our right here, correct? Am I looking at this right? Am I stupid? Alright, so it's this way. I gotta go this way. Alright. San Luis Obispo traffic, Comanche, taxi, and runway 29. Got some realistic sounds when it's taxiing out, little clunks. This airport needs some work in the sim. yeah, they definitely try to put in some realistic sounds. Clunky like an old plane like it is on the taxi. You can hear it like bouncing around and see it bouncing around, so that's kind of neat. Squeaky brakes. Alright, we'll go ahead and take off to the west here and just pretty much head right for the shoreline. Oh, I stalled it out again. Are you kidding me? Alright, are we good? I think we're good. Let's go ahead and take off here. San Luis Obispo traffic, Comanche departing runway 29 to the northwest. San Luis Obispo. Horrible job lining up. Well, let's go ahead and just bang on out of here. See how it's like shaky going down the runway, kind of like the real thing would be. Old bird, rotate about 70 knots. Positive rate, nobody uses the runway. You gotta click the gear twice. The first time is to unlock, and the second time is to actually actuate it. So unlock and up. Nice good look outside. You can see the gear in their wells. Climb at 24 squared, so I'm gonna get 24 on the manifold pressure and then 24 on the prop. And that's gonna be our climb power setting. HSI looks off. I don't think I have it on. We are going to be able to do these autopilot to do just heading and maintain altitude is the only thing I've figured out so far with this autopilot. So we'll get up to 2,500 feet. And then I'll get this thing, so what I can do is I can get the heading going here. So autopilot on, it's gonna let me know when it's ready. Green light says it's ready. So I can go heading. So now it'll hold the heading that we have set. And when I eventually go to get the altitude held, how did I gotta remember how, oh, it's right here, I engage, disengage, right here, and then when I go to hold that altitude, it'll actually tell me, like, hey, you need to trim up or need to trim down to help me out. So it'll actually, and we're getting close to our 2,500 feet here, so I'm gonna slowly trim down. We'll go ahead and engage. And now, if I need to trim one way or the other, it'll yell at me, hey, trim up or trim down, buddy. To kind of help it out. I'm going to bet that I need to trim down. See, look, it's yelling at me. It's down here. It's saying trim down. So I'm going to trim down. Oh, I'm trimming the wrong way like an idiot. Trimming up instead of down. We need to trim down. There we go. Now the airplane is happy. It'd probably help if I was freaking going, you know, trimming down instead of up right there. We're gonna go down to a 23 squared for the cruise. So 23 on the manifold and 23 on the RPM. And once we come over the shoreline here, we're just gonna follow the shoreline to the north until we get to Monterey. These little bumps of turbulence too, it's just kind of just pops you up and down. That's something they're gonna have to smooth out and work on. Alright, so we go back to holding our altitude at 2,500 feet now. It's holding our heading the way we want it. Actually, I think it bounces anytime the sim stutters. Which I realize is happening probably because I'm streaming. Good view on both wings. We're leveled out pretty good here now. The plane's not, it's happy, it's not yelling at me to trim it one way or the other. So we can take a quick view outside. Very nice. I don't know what this autopilot is called, Nick Resla, to be honest with you. I know very little about it. I'm just learning it as I go here. So we're gonna go to about good. Alright, we're cruising. Like I said, we're just gonna maintain a heading to kind of follow the coastline to the north up to Monterey. Very nice sound. So if we move around in here, pretty much everything's clickable. So that light goes on, that light would go on, that light goes on. I don't know exactly what this thing is for. I'll have to figure that one out. But I mean, it looks like pretty much everything moves. You can move this thing around, little air vent. You got your little fuel things down here, emergency gear lever. So of course you got the little tablet with all the stuff that was on there. Let's see what else. Everything else is good. Again, when my sim stutters a little bit, that's where you get this little bouncy bounce. I'm sorry about that, chat. Down there, transponder, you got all your switches. Shows your auxiliary fuel. Switch between left and right. Now I don't have anything in either tanks, so it's not going to show anything right now. I just have the main tanks going. Carb heat. Trim, and it's got the little circling wheel, so when I adjust the trim you'll see that thing moving left or right. Little temperature probe, you can open this guy up, get some air in. pretty stable once you get the autopilot figured out. I haven't figured out how to do any like the tracking for the nav or anything, but you know, lesson for another day. We're just nice view far up the coast. Don't need that. Is there anything in the ashtray? Doesn't look like it. Nope. Is there anything in the glove box? Nope. No hidden secrets there. These guys move. Yeah. So yeah, I would say everything, these things even, so everything's clickable. Even these little 2 circuit breakers here look clickable. So they definitely did, they took their time with this, there's no doubt. Oh, I don't have any of my lights on here. What am I doing? There we go. Should probably have the lights on. There we go. Alright. Got your little ADF antenna going on right here. Gear wells, no doors on the gear. Exhaust coming through down below where the nose gear is. Torpedo tube. So I would say it's very well detailed on the outside as well. Nice paint schemes. A few different liveries to choose from. It does put your tail in there too, which is nice. That's so you can see I have November 124 Mike Charlie on the tail. I like that. And it flies good. I was doing a lot of hand flying with it earlier, testing it out. Obviously just got the autopilot on now for convenience, but when we get closer to Monterey, I'll go ahead and hand fly it. It's not bad. I haven't gotten the landings down yet in this thing. I'm a little bit floaty with it. I haven't really kind of figured out what speed is the actual landing speed yet. So I'm still trying to work around with that so that I'm not coming in so floaty and so fast, but we'll test that out when I go to do the landing at Monterey. So you see the gear here, it's got down, up, off, so it's actually a 2-clicker. So if I wanted to do this, or do I have the gear set to only the 2? Hold on, let me look. Let's see, because you could change it. 3-way gear switch, yep, so it's a 3-way gear switch. So it's the up, off, and down. So now it's in the off position, so I'd have to just hit it the one more time now to put it down. Click on the POH on the right-hand door, and no, it's not popping up. I can't. No clicky of the POH over there. But what they do give you is, if we go in here, it does give you some stuff right here. It gives you your estimated endurance, it gives you your true airspeed, your ground speed, your range, fuel economy. It gives you rotate 85 miles per hour at max takeoff weight, bigger rotation earlier, lower weight, or with flaps if aircraft becomes light on the main gear. This is where I got the 24 squared for the climb, 24 inches manifold pressure, 2400 RPM. Gives you your best angle climb, best rate of climb, so VX, VY, and the normal climb. Cruise, up to 24 inches manifold pressure and 2400 RPM. I just got 23 squared. Mixture 0 to 50 degrees, rich at peak. So that's what I've got kind of going on there, I believe. Approach, so it's 85 to 90 miles per hour for the final flaps. So we've got to try and stick between 85 and 90, but even that I feel like was fast when I was coming in. So we'll try and see what we do. Max crosswind demonstration 17 knots. So it gives you a little bit of information right here in the flight information. It also tells you your wind, gives you the outside air temperature, gives you the visibility, all that good stuff as well. You have checklist here, which I could have followed, but I did not, so we're good. Fuel pump off. Oh, I forgot to turn the fuel pump off. So we can turn that off above 1,000 feet. lean as required. So cruise, throttle set, prop set, mixture lean as required, fuel pump verify off, fuel pressure gauge check, engine gauge check, we've done that. So then the next thing would be approach, take the autopilot off, fuel pump on, fuel levels, pressure, mixture which, prop full forward, carb heat, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so you get the idea. It gives you a nice little checklist on everything too right here. It gives you emergency checklist, power lost in flight, power approach, power planning, engine fire, all the different things. Little spin recovery, gives you everything there. So nice little checklist as well that it gives you in the flight information thing. So that's pretty neat as well. Very well detailed. You guys know me, I'm not much of a checklist user on the stream. Obviously, when I'm flying for real, I use the checklist. But on the stream, I kind of just get in and go. But it's there for the people that take it seriously. I know a few people that are going to get in this thing and just absolutely go to town on it. And I look forward to watching them when they stream it. It's 25 minutes, alright. I can see Tommy enjoying this aircraft. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of guys that are going to enjoy this aircraft because it has all of the clickability, realism, it has the checklist, it has, you know, the functionality of like maintenance things where it shows you what's going on with different system, like the engine, all that. So there are definitely guys that are going to be very much enjoying. Oh, there's other things in here that I haven't even looked at, like stabilator tips. We'll look at this on the ground. I'll click some more of these things on the ground, show you some of the differences once we land. It's very, it's a very adjustable little plane, if you will. Kind of make it your own. Many different ways that you can do it. Is there TDS GTN 750 compatibility? I don't know. That's a good question. It does give the option for GTN 750, but I don't have the TDS GTN 750, Steve, so I'm not able to show you. And I'm afraid to even click that because I feel like it's just going to crash my sim if I do. But I'm guessing if it has that option there, then probably. But don't quote me on that because I don't know, and I don't have the TDS GTN 750, so I can't elaborate any further for you, unfortunately. Lack of equipment and lack of knowledge on my end there. Again, whenever you see that's doing that little leap, that's just, unfortunately, that's my sim. When the sim stutters, the airplane kind of lags out and it stutters and does a little. You see how it does the little bunny hop, blink. That'll get annoying after a while, so hopefully my sim can stop stuttering. Keep it nice and close to the coast here. So again, I've got the little autopilot thing on. You can see right here, I've got the altitude hold on and I've got it set for heading right here. And that's how you can see your little autopilot thing on the turn slip indicator, or turn coordinator, excuse me. I can disengage the altitude right here. I can disengage the autopilot completely right there. The manual on switch is right there. Transponder down here, pretty basic. Got the old school comm stack, and then of course the 530. Little ADF right here, basically useless. But it's there. click spot here on the compass, but I don't see that it's doing anything, so I'm not going to play with that anymore, just in case. Yeah, I got a little bit of a marine layer. Not surprising since it's NorCal. Or I guess this would be Middle California, going towards Northern California. Last check on SkyVector, Monterey was, oh yeah, 6 miles haze scattered at 400. That might be somewhat interesting, trying to get into Monterey here. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. Give you guys a nice view of the terrain here. Out the right wing. Can this fly? RNAV approaches? Not with the autopilot, I don't think, Dub Aviator. I don't think there's any chance of that. I think you could hand fly it with like this as a guidance, but I don't think you can do it, or I should say maybe the better option is that I don't know how to do it in this type of autopilot. This is bare bones autopilot here, so I don't think you can do a full RNAV approach in this thing. I'm sure we could do like it'll have an ILS, where it should give us the ability to use the ILS on the HSI. I mean, I could look into that. Maybe we'll see, does Monterey have an ILS? I feel like I should know this because you have to fly into there with Envoy. It does have an ILS to the east runway, runway 10. Wind 340 at 6. We could do it. Let's see, ILS to 10. Frequency is 110.7. Alright, so we'll go ahead and 110.7. Into there. And we'll see when we get closer if we are able to pick up the ILS and get a... Oh, I just realized my my HSI is nowhere near where it's supposed to be, right? Let's go ahead and get this to straight and level. And twist this guy around so that it's correct. Should be, what are we, 3... You guys are letting me fly around with this whole time with my HSI all screwed up. Correct, it's like about 310 right now we're doing on the compass. I would say about 310 roughly, maybe like right there. So now we're looking, that looks much better. Now I need to swing my heading bug back around so we can maintain this heading that we're on. And then I can switch it back to heading mode. That looks more better. And then the final approach course for this approach is 098. So let me set my course here to 098. There we go. That's more better. Dub Aviator, did you say it earlier? Oh no. HSI is sure enough, you did. HSI is showing east while you're flying west. Son of a gun. I stand corrected, chat. What? Yes. Yes, I did. Thank you, Dub Aviator. I'm sorry I didn't see that earlier. So let's go ahead and we'll put the ILS 10 into there. And when we get closer, like I said, we'll see how it plays out, see if we can do it. We're not going to be able to do it on autopilot. I don't think you can do any of the approaches on autopilot with this thing. But we'll hopefully at least get a localizer and glide slope that we can follow, that I can manually fly it down, of course. Use our pilot skills. cruising at about $1.52 on 23 squared, so that's not so bad. Again, you can go much lower on the prop and manifold. Let me pull the prop back and see. It says anywhere between 1800 and 2000 RPM. And what that, lowering that prop more is just going to get you, it looks like, better fuel efficiency. So I'm just going to leave it at 23. Because I'm not really looking to be fuel efficient at this moment. I'm just looking to get a decent cruise speed going so that we can eventually demonstrate a landing in this thing. But we're cruising along the California coast. So, the question now becomes, chat, is this payware aircraft worth $50? I don't know, to be honest with you. It's got a bunch of functionality, don't get me wrong. It's got, you know, everything like this. It's got the functionality, it flies good, it's got everything is clickable. You have alternating GPSs, things like that. So for $50, yeah, I would say that that's fair. I think $50 is fair, chat. Just because I know it's only a single engine piston, and it seems kind of high for a single engine piston, but it's got the functionality, everything's clickable, it's got the ability to go into maintenance, you can change things around. We're going to take a look at some of that customizable stuff once we land on the ground in Monterey, just to kind of see what all that looks like. So I would say, yeah, I would say it's worth it. I'm going to go ahead and tell Brant that it's worth it. That's my honest opinion, right from the get-go there, chat. I do believe it is worth the price point. Yeah, they definitely took their time and effort into it to make it as real life as possible in the sim, so I would say that it is worth it. Absolutely. I think they did a fantastic job. I'm going to say 4.5 out of 5 stars. Because I never really give a 5 out of 5. I don't think there's ever been a sim aircraft on X-Plane or Microsoft Flight Sim that I've ever given a 5 stars out of 5, Chad. Just be honest. I'm a tough critic. But I would say this is 4.5 out of 5 stars. I would say it's worth the $50. Just for a lot of the functionality that you can have, you know, and different ways you can, and again, I'm sorry my sim's a little stuttery here, but the different things you can do with it, changing the GPS, you can change, you know, just the external things that we're going to look at on the ground, and so yeah, that's my official viewpoint, just from the little bit of messing around I've done with it now, and I haven't even really gotten that deeply in depth, excuse me, with it. But this is definitely going to be, and again, is that bouncing around? Don't worry about that, chat. It's a little bit of a bug because of my sim stuttering. When my sim doesn't stutter, you see that it doesn't bounce around like that. So that's not on the airplane, that's on my computer. Come on, computer, hang in there. I know you're old, and I know you need to be cleaned. Oh my god. I really need to get a can and compress air and clean this thing out. It's been far too long. Poor computer. But, yeah, I can see myself flying this thing a lot. A whole heck of a lot down the road here. This might be the plane that I take into, if I can get more comfortable with landing this thing, I think I'm going to take this into Bayport for the Virtue USA Flying Club anniversary event. Like I said, if I can get more comfortable with it before then, in terms of landings. But I got a little bit of, just shy of a month. Speaking of that, let's go ahead and talk about some club things. So, upcoming events for the Virtue USA Flying Club. On Saturday morning at 9 a.m. I'm going to be on Westchester Tower for Cinnabons for breakfast. So I'm having you guys fly. It's basically just a variation of the Make Mike sweats that I used to do all the time. But since it's a morning time event, I decided we'll have some cinnamon buns for breakfast while we do it. So that's 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. on Saturday. Eric's got his marathon event that he's doing, his Flight Around the Gulf of Mexico marathon, where he's going to be accepting donations for his great cycle challenge that he always does every year. And it's donating to a good cause. It's the Children's Cancers Research Fund that all the donations go to. So, you know, when Eric is on stream on Saturday into Sunday, his long 24-hour marathon stream that he's going to do, you should definitely pop in, and if you're able to donate to the cause, I would please donate to the cause, again, if you're able. And then the last but not least, of course, we have the Virtuous A Flying Club 4-year anniversary event. We're going to be flying from Sky Acres, going down the Hudson River Skyline route, and then eventually South Shoreline 500 feet or below at Kennedy to get to Long Island and to Bayport Aerodrome, where there will be giveaways. We're going to, right now we've got up to $150 of giveaways on the board at the moment, potentially more. So if you're not already involved with the Virtuous A Flying Club, there's a link to the Discord. You do need to be a VATSIM member to join. But if you are already a club member, which most of the people that watch my stream are, I hope to see you both at the event on Saturday. I hope to see you guys at least in Eric's stream at some point when he's doing his marathon event the following weekend. And of course, I hope to see everyone for the 4-year anniversary event on Sunday, August 13th. Anyways, that's enough of the shameless plugging. We're going through a little bit of this marine layer. We're just going to pretend, chat, that we don't see these clouds since they're very see-through anyway. They're not there, alright, chat? Those clouds, they're not there. And that bouncing around is just my sim stuttering, so I apologize for that. So what do we got? We got about 10-15 minutes until we get up to Monterey here. We are, like I said, going to test the ILS once we get a little bit closer. Is this the right frequency? No, that's not it. IMTB, that's not it. We're looking for IMRY, so it's picking up some other ILS right now, so we're not going to worry about that. Once again, you see the compass is drifting a little bit on us, so it should be at a 305. So right about there. So the HSI, you got to keep your eye on it. Did I go the wrong way with this? It should be 295. There. Yeah, there we go. I think we're good now. Perfect. Looking at something on my phone real quick, chat, so bear with me. if I'm not paying attention. And again, ignore the stutters, the sim stutters. The airplane rocks when my sim stutters. That's the one thing I've noticed. And again, that's nothing to do with the airplane. That has everything to do with my computer, unfortunately. My poor computer has a hard time running this sim and streaming at the same time. I don't have these issues when I'm not streaming. It's just when I'm streaming, that extra little bit of oomph that the computer needs because I'm streaming, it takes a toll. Let's put it that way. This computer is almost 4 years old, so, and she needs to be cleaned. That is another thing I was talking about that earlier. I really need to get some compressed air because this thing needs to be cleaned pretty thoroughly. So I'm definitely not helping her out much. Oh yeah, we definitely got some visibility struggles that we're going to be dealing with here. So let's see, what's the ILS? The final approach fix is 1,700. So we can probably descend down here. We're going to descend down to 1,700. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to disengage the altitude. And with the heading still on, I'm just going to use the trim to kind of get a descent going. So the airplane will still fly the heading, and now I'm just using kind of the trim to dictate the descent. And then I'm going to engage the altitude back on. When we get to 1,700 feet. Off our right, eventually we're going to pass when we get closer to Monterey, off by like Pebble Beach and all that area, but we might have a hard time seeing all that with this marine layer. Slow our descent here. I'm going to re-engage the altitude. Right, meow. So that should do it. Let's see which way it wants me to trim. Am I going to need to trim down or up plane? Or do you have it? It might have it. All on its own here. Alright. Oh, did I just freeze? Don't tell me I just crashed the desktop, please. Okay, we're back. Whew. Jeffrey B, thanks for coming in today. That was scary, chat. I thought my sim was about to CTD, but it recovered. It recovered just in the nick of time. We're definitely getting souped out here, so we will hopefully be able to pick up this ILS. Alright, so we see we've got IMRY, so that's in there. Alright, so we should be able to identify. I'm going to assume that that's the Morse code for IMRY. So that's cool. Localizer, we're not going to get the glide slope, I don't think, until we get closer into the range here. But we are going to pick it up. So hopefully that should work to help guide us in through this marine layer. 0.34, thanks for coming in today. Does it trim nicely compared to some of the cheaper G airplanes? Yes, it does, actually. Even off the autopilot. When I was hand flying it before off stream, it was I didn't have that difficult a time getting it trimmed out. Let's put it that way, at least personally. So yeah, I think it's better than like any of the Carinado, airplanes. You can't get that thing to stay trimmed to save your life. But when I was hand flying it earlier, I didn't really notice any issue keeping it trimmed out pretty good. And then obviously with the little autopilot on, it does a good job of maintaining altitude for you. Actually, if we're going to try the ILS, since we're in this freaking layer anyway, I'm just going to hold this 330 heading for now. That's going to kind of take me out over here. We're definitely a little soupy on the California coast. No ATC online, so we don't have to really do or declare anything. At this point, we're just going to assume we're IFR now, chat. Glide slope's in now, too, yeah, so we'll be able to shoot the ILS. Now, again, we can't have the airplane shoot it for us on the autopilot. We have to manually do it, hand fly it. So for now, I'm just going to kind of get myself vectored onto the final approach course, and then we'll hand fly the approach. So why don't we go ahead, since we're getting pretty close here, we'll go through a checklist. Approach. Once we're ready, autopilot off, fuel pump on. I'm just going to do that now so I don't forget. We'll turn the fuel pump on. Fuel selector, desired tanks. We're doing both tanks. The mains, we're not using the tip tanks, so we're good there. Fuel levels checked. Fuel pressures checked. We're good there. Mixture full rich once we get there. Prop full forward once we get there. Carb heat is required. Should have needed. It's pretty hot out. Airspeed 120 for the approach. Gear down. Flaps as desired. Alright. So we'll do all that once we get a little bit closer. But it's neat that it has the little checklist there and all that for you. Got our little fuel totalizer here. I forget what this thing is called, I'll be honest with you, chat. Someone can enlighten me. I forget what they call this thing. But it shows you your manifold pressure, your RPM, gives you your fuel, lets you know pretty much what each cylinder is doing. Gallons per hour, all that. I don't remember what that specific instrument is called, though, so you're going to have to excuse my lack of knowledge on that. Engine trend monitor? Yeah, see, I wouldn't know. I would need my buddy Sean in here to tell me, but I think he's busy working. He usually knows this kind of stuff. Again, that little bouncy, if you're just joining, that's when my sim stutters. That's not the actual, has nothing to do with the airplane itself. That has everything to do with my computer riding the struggle bus. Melvin Leroy, thanks for coming in today. I'm sure you saw my answer in the Discord, but yeah, I would say that this airplane is worth the 50 beans. We're going to go through more of like the customizable stuff once we land on the ground in Monterey. Sim stutters are going to drive me crazy. But again, that's my computer, chat, and I don't have it when I'm not streaming. It's because I'm using Flight Sim and streaming at the same time. My computer's working at max capacity. Amazing how quickly a piece of equipment like this can become so outdated so fast. No, I mean, it's been 4 years, and that's a long time, I guess, in the computer realm. We're definitely IFR now. We have the ILS ready to go here for runway 10 right into Monterey. So we'll fly it, and we're going to have to hand fly it since we can't do this coupled with the autopilot, as far as I know. I don't think you can with this simple autopilot. What we are going to do though is, once we get a little bit closer here, we will start slowing down. Actually, I'm going to now just start slowing down to about 120 miles per hour. So we'll go mixture prop full. Start bleeding off some airspeed. We're going to go ahead at this point and disengage the altitude part of the autopilot. Actually, we'll go ahead and just completely disengage the autopilot. And we'll do this by hand here the rest of the way in. Oh, way out of trim. Let's go ahead and pick that baby up. Let's get back up. Come on, get back up there. We were way out of trim. Let's get back up to 1700. M. Stein, I need to GoFundMe so I can buy all these $50 Pipers. Oh boy. Well, if you're gonna spend one, I would say this is the one to spend it on. Granted, I don't know much about those Warriors. What are the Just Flight Warriors? I don't know much about those. I could say this is better than any Carenado product in leaps and bounds, but you guys all know my opinion on Carenado in this stream, if you've been watching long enough. Alright, we can get that power back now towards 120 again. This would be a good angle. Monterey traffic. Comanche's on about a 7-mile final for the ILS 10 right, Monterey. Make my calls on Unicom. There's the localizer coming in. That altitude, Mike. Let's keep that altitude. We're not at the glide slope intercept yet. It should be at 1700 feet. Let's go. We're gonna go first notch of flaps, and we're gonna go gear down. Glide slope's coming. It's a good thing we decided to do the ILS, chat, because there's no way in heck I was going to find the runway through this marine layer. Good lord. Visibility is rough. Oh, we're drifting a little bit off, so let's get back on it here to the right. We're looking okay on the glide slope. About a half a dot low. I'm correcting both of these things right now. If you guys want to put a landing rate guess in the chat, you can do that. We'll use Volanta to measure it. I wasn't using Volanta before, so I haven't measured a landing rate yet in this thing, so we'll see if I'm any good or not. This will be like the first real starting to get the runway in view here now at our 12 o'clock. Getting a little high on this glide slope. Don't want to go full scale deflection, because then you'd have to go misapproach, Mike. Come on. This is not very good hand flying of this approach right now. I've got to work on my scan a little bit better. If you guys want to put landing rate guesses in the chat, you can do so now. And again, I apologize for the sim stutters. That's what's causing that little bouncy animation. Alright, we're back on the localizer. Let's get back on the darn glide slope. How about that, Mike? Let's go ahead. Figure this out. Not the world's best hand-flown ILS here, I will admit. It's pretty sloppy. Do have the runway in sight though now. Monterey traffic, Comanche onshore funnel, 10 right, Monterey. We'll go full flaps now. We'll start to get to our final approach speed of about 85, I believe. We're looking for about 85, 90. We're way high on the glide slope, but we've got the runway in sight now, so we don't have to worry about it necessarily anymore, although I do still want to get the nose down here. Let's go ahead and get back on a reasonable slope. That's going to be better right there. Looking for about 85. Finally starting to look more better here. Clear these trees. Slight wind. Well, the windsocks are disagreeing, so that's not going to help any. Power out. Try not to float too much. Oh, we floated the boat. Get it down. Roll it out. Did I just get some? I must have just got some kind of achievement apparently, because I heard the badoop. That's intriguing. We'll exit here, and I don't remember where the FBO is at this airport, to be honest with you guys. I think it's just off to the left here, but I don't... maybe it's over here. We'll just go to the right. I think it might be over here. This might be the terminal, actually, over here. Maybe I think it's past the terminal. I think it's over here, so we'll go past the terminal. Bring the flaps up, and then, like I said, we'll go through some of those menus and look at some of the customizable things on this thing before we call it good. Volanta said... Apparently I did a minus 6 feet per minute landing, according to Volanta. Minus 6. So apparently I can land this thing pretty good. It's, okay. Alright. Well then. Achievement, successfully landed a GA add-on that cost more than $45. Yeah, that's pretty funny. So apparently the landing was good. How do you even know you landed? Good question. I mean, I'm on the ground, so I must have landed. We'll just go over here and park over here somewhere. We're just gonna, right here, we're gonna slide in right in this little spot right here. Just so we can park and look at some more things. Right by the fuel truck. Alright, we got it stopped up. Parking brake is on. Let's see some of this customizable stuff here now. Alright, so maintenance. So wing, apparently you can take the tip tanks off. Just have the little, not quite Hershey bar rings, but you get the idea. So you can have the tip tanks off or on. You get little stabilator tips. Hello, I'm still streaming. Wing gap seats. I don't even know what that is. I'm not gonna lie, I don't know what that is. Slipper fairing. Don't know what that did either. Wing root fairings. Oh, I think it's just this. Yeah, that little... So, right here. Look right here, chat. And then wing root fairing. Look at that. Okay. You can turn that on or off. Gear lobe fairings. Don't know what that is. Soundproofing. So you can even get it to be even quieter, I guess. Okay, so those are different things that you can kind of add and adjust on it. I think you can even do like the prop. You can change it from the Macaulay prop to the MT propeller. Let me go ahead and shut the engine down so I can switch the prop on this without damaging it. MT. So Macaulay constant speed aluminum or MTP propeller constant speed composite. Okay, so you either have the metal Macaulay or the composite. Okay, that's cool. So you can even change the prop on it. For those of you that weren't here at the beginning of the stream, we'll do another walk around. You can check on certain things out here. Oh, let's maneuver the ailerons. You can check that. Check the fuel tank.
Steve PHL just subscribed.
M. Stein, thank you for gifting Steve PHL that sub. I really appreciate it. This I haven't figured out yet. It's apparently... Oh, no, it's not working now. It wasn't working before, but look, it's got fuel in it, chat. I don't know why it wasn't working the first time, but now you can fill this up with fuel. See that it's got no water in it? That's neat. Okay, so it's now working. Oh, we got the landing lights on still. We should probably turn those off. That'll stop blinding us. There we go. Put the tie down on. Fuel tank. Put the chocks on. This one doesn't seem to want to work, so we'll skip that one. Check the prop. Spinner's all still good. Check the oil. Oil's good. Other fuel tank. Chocks on. Tie it down. Little stall horn that you'd be able to hear inside if the plane was on. Another wing tip tank fueler. Sump the fuel. No water in there. Good. Again, check the flaps good. Or that's the aileron. Look at that. Check the flaps. Pitot static port, I guess. Check the tail. I think you move all that stuff. Load the bags. Get all that in there. And back in the cockpit. So yeah, a lot you can do with this thing. Pretty impressive, actually. You can change the tip tanks and have all those things. I actually like having the little stabilizer tips on there. And the soundproofing. I'm gonna keep those on. We'll keep the Macaulay prop. That's not what I wanted to do, chat. Go away. And then you can adjust, you got the tip tank, you can adjust the fuels over here and do different things like that. Other controls, I should probably actually turn all this stuff off now that we're done. So tie downs, parking brake wheels, shock, look at the control lock. It's this little bungee thing, so it actually has a little control lock on it. So that's kind of neat. Alright, so we're done, so we can do that. Let's go ahead and open the door. Gotta actually unlock the door first before you can open it. Look at that. Put the keto covers on. Take the headphones off. You can even put the little engine Tannis heater on. A lot of things you do with it, and then you can go no GPS. You got the 430, 530, 530, 430 combo, GTN 750, which I don't have the TDS. I don't know if it's compatible or not, to be honest with you guys. All different checklists. So yeah, for $50, you get what you get. It's you get everything. Essentially, it gives you everything. It gives you the walk around. It gives you all the customizability. It even shows you the different parts of the engines. When this was running, you would see all these things kind of moving. Electrical system, it's showing where the battery's coming from. all that. So, yeah, for $50, you're getting your money's worth. You can even go from like the 3-way gear to just the up and down gear. You can have the 8.33 comm radios or not. You can even go to the original prop lever, which is just this guy right here, instead of it being the blue prop lever. So very customizable. It gives you options for turbulence. Gives you the options for the wear, the failure rate. Another way to work the autopilot right here if you didn't want to do it through the actual airplane. So yeah, there's a lot of different things that you can do with this particular sim. So I would say that's a good test. Good way to end the stream. She's all buttoned up with her covers. She's tied down. Ready for her next adventure in the future. But in the meantime, yeah, I think that does it. All the switches inside pretty much work. Everything is functional. It's quite solid for Microsoft Flight Sim, especially for a GA aircraft to have all that kind of, all the features and everything going on like that. So, yeah, definitely worth the 50 beans in my opinion. 4.5 stars out of 5. Very nicely done. All right. So there's your little look, your little preview. I think that's good enough for me right now. Let me see if there's anybody else streaming. I know it's a very awkward time because it's like a weekday, middle of the day here, but let's see who we got. Looks like Canada is, or Ocando. I always say Canada. Ocando is flying this aircraft, it looks like. Let me see, is he still flying it? Because if he is, then we'll just have you go from one Comanche stream to another Comanche stream. Oh yeah, he is. We'll go ahead and raid Ocando then. Thank you guys for coming in today. Again, I hope you guys enjoyed the stream here. I hope you guys enjoyed my quick little review. Like I said, 4.5 stars out of 5. I think it's worth the 50 beans. That's my answer to the very short questions. I think it flies well. I think it's a fun little airplane. Managed to somehow get a minus 6 foot per minute landing out of it. Don't ask me how. But alright, here comes the raid. Thanks for coming in today. See you guys next time.
Like God, what's the word, chat?